it's a ta-da moment.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Both bales are done.
Yay!
I'm quite tired now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my finger's still everybody.
Your finger gets in the screen quite a lot. Would you like me to hold it?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
Not
hold
very
it.
good at that job.
We've had another. I know some people have said it's a Tran morning, but we've done a lot of clearing up of poo and raking and
Lots.
chatting.
Yeah.
And then we went up for coffee and came back down and they'd made a mess again.
Muffin, we had a muffin.
Yeah, we always have to have a blueberry muffin. Anyway.
Yeah, there's about 9 poos
I know, it's shocking.
when we got back.
Yeah, but look, little trusty tractor's done its job. We've got
Yay.
a bale of haylage outside and inside. I thought you were sticking your finger up at me then. I wouldn't put it past you. No. Anyway, are we putting this at the start of the video? And then
Yeah.
you get another, please let's not call it a Tran Day.
No.
We need another name.
We came up with some, didn't we?
Did we? I don't remember, that was a week ago. I don't remember yesterday.
Ansi?
Antsy. Antsy.
We didn't come up with that. Maybe people could help us with a different name.
Yeah. We're up for suggestions. That's if you enjoy it.
And Tracy.
So today's video is, what were we talking about this morning?
We were talking about how this all started and all about Hannes and how Hannes was the first horsey
Yeah.
to come into the sanctuary. And
the
that
reason
set
why
it.
we became the sanctuary.
Yeah.
So as usual, I waffle on about all sorts of stuff in answer to Anne's questions.
Not
so
waffle,
again, it's another very long video, but we hope you enjoy it. And if you do, then we'll maybe bring you more.
Yeah, we'd love to.
If Anne can think of more questions, or even if you've got
I've
any
got loads.
questions that you'd like Anne to ask me. I'd rather not know the questions
No.
beforehand. So I'm not quite sure how you'd tell us, because obviously I read all the comments.
And at Black Horses.
Yeah, Anne at blackhorses.co.uk.
Send me an email.
You
won't tell her.
Yeah, don't tell me.
But
Keep
there's-
me in the dark.
Best way.
Yeah.
With there's things
Things.
as well as things.
Yeah.
Like your involvement in the Netherlands. Love to find out about that.
Oh, yeah, when I first went over there.
Yeah.
And you were talking about asking me about my time as director and president of the Friesian Association.
Director and president.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd have to make sure that I'm quite diplomatic about that. But anyway, that's a whole topic for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got any ideas, I'm going to stop waffling now. Enjoy the rest of the video. I'll be quiet. You'll be quiet.
I won't be here.
You won't be here.
Oh no, what do you mean on the next video?
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. That was quite tiring. I'm a little bit warm
was,
now.
yeah,
Yeah. Let's
me
go up
too.
and have another coffee.
Let's.
Okay.
Bye everyone. Am I not picking poo again?
Look, we've got an Anne. It's Monday, we've got an Anne. She's come to not pick poo again.
I'm going to stand back a bit, it's a bit close lines.
Really? Look, I even bought like the little gimbal because I thought if you do really want to ask me questions, then we could stand this somewhere and you can poo pick at the same time.
Oh,
Have I ruined all your fun now?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to stand there.
Oh, you can stand there and hold the camera if you like. But I don't know whether I'll get my words out today.
Have you had a busy weekend?
No.
Okay.
Have I had a busy weekend? Went looking at horse boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and have we put a deposit down on
I
one?
couldn't possibly tell you that because I've just uploaded a video saying that, you know, we've kind of made the decision on the one that we want,
Yeah.
but I'm waiting to hear from Pierce today.
P.S.
Pierce.
Is he the
Pierce
main
at Steffex. Oh, look, Mai's come for a morning cuddles. Look, you see, it's you going to be cuddling the horses this morning. I'm
So-
going to get jealous.
Well, you can have a cuddle after this.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. Look, we've got a kind of empty trailer at the moment.
I think I just put one poo in, one pie. Oh no, I didn't. I think
No, it's still in your bucket.
started.
It's in your bucket.
Ooh, hi. Kisses. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, Micah gives lovely kisses. Oh, Speshy's coming to lick now. You've got a slight obsession with the trailer at the moment, haven't you? Right, this isn't getting anything done, is it?
No, should we perch that somewhere then?
Yes, let's perch.
Where's the perfect perching place?
Oh, I don't know, but I actually do, while we're here, I just need to comment on this because these are the salt licks that a number of you were quite concerned that they were dripping down the concrete and damaging it. So the lovely Ruth has bought a couple of bits of PVC plastic, and Tony is going to come and fit them behind both the salt licks that we've got on there and on the other side, and that way we can wipe them clean and it's not damaging the concrete as they dribble down. Oh, we've got an Iceman now. We have.
Hello, ice baby.
I've just seen some of your Simply Red singing, and just maybe don't. They're all loving on you, Anne, today.
People. Hello, darling. Oh, look, this is my second horse
Oh,
case.
actually, sorry, that's Iceman. Yeah,
Oh.
you've got Iceman and Micah.
No. Look at, oh, I love you too. I know.
You see, he doesn't just love his mummy. He loves everybody.
He loves his mummy more. I know. Hello. Hello. Oh, I need to be an octopus.
You
So I can
do?
do multiple scratches.
Why didn't you bring your other arms with you?
I'm armless.
Do you say you're armless? Do you save them for special occasions?
Yes. When would I need a lot of arms?
Now?
Oh, shopping, yes.
Yeah.
Not that I do shopping.
Do you not?
No, Gary does shopping.
Really? You've got a manslave.
I have got a man. Well,
Gary.
certain things. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's very good at going shopping.
Aren't you lucky?
Hello.
Oh, that's it. You're not going to get anything done today, are you?
I'm in heaven. Yeah.
Look, Gimbal's on the wall.
Yeah.
You have to pick poo now.
I wouldn't have been able to reach that. But yes, I will have to
Well,
pick poo.
I couldn't. I just climbed up the pole.
Health and safety.
I'm a pole climber. No, I'm not a pole dancer. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me you used to do
I
pole
did.
dancing.
I used to go to pole dancing lessons
Did you?
many years ago, and I used to feel sick because when you're a beginner, all you do is go round.
Really?
And because I was just going round, it made me feel sick, so I stopped. Apart from the fact I wasn't very good at it. But yeah.
Have you got pictures?
No.
That would be quite funny.
No.
Can you get your leg right up in the air? Right. Yeah. This
I
isn't
went to
getting
belly
anything
dancing
done.
classes as well when I lived in Dubai.
Belly dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, look, we can have the life of Anne. You see belly dancing, pole dancing.
We should have some belly dancing classes at the farm.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We're kind of surrounded this morning.
It's lovely.
I know. You see, they all love to just come in here and hover. I don't think it's just to do with carrots, but I could be wrong.
There's a lot of poos,
It's funny that, isn't it?
she said, stating the
It
obvious.
would be slightly concerning if there weren't any, wouldn't it?
It would. It would.
Look, that one's squashed. Do you think that means somebody lay down?
Oh, ew. Why would you lay down
They
in
used
your
to-
own
well,
poo?
they like to use it as a pillow. Hannes does that. Whenever he was in stable stays, he would always just lie and put his head in the poo. I don't know whether it's because it was warm or soft or just liked a dirty face. Who knows?
Or all of the above.
All of the above. Yeah.
That's cute. I've been thinking about Hannes as well. And his demotion to the least powerful in the pack.
Yeah.
I just think it's a shame.
Well, it is, but somebody's got to take that position, haven't they?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. How long have we
So
had
topic over.
How long have we had? Yeah.
Sorry.
How long have we had him?
Well, he was the first one who was abandoned here.
Oh,
So what is it now? 11 years ago?
goodness.
So he came to me originally because the lady who owned him, she'd had him trained by a dressage trainer. So he was lovely, you know, very nicely schooled. But, you know, she wasn't the most confident or accomplished rider, you know, and she just wanted to go for nice, safe little hacks out.
Yeah,
And Hannes was a very forward-thinking horse, always has been,
yeah.
and was quite keen out hacking. So she sent him to me to you know, basically do some hacking training because he'd never really been out of the arena, and get him used to different things. So he came along, took him out. This is where I always say Cartmel Village is brilliant for training the horses, because, you know, it's small, but it can be really busy with lots of different sights and sounds. But, you know, the great thing is that people are generally very respectful.
Yeah.
Drivers drive slowly. But yeah, he was very keen, always very heavy on his forehand and like pulling forward. So, you know, nothing dangerous about him at all. He just wanted to get on and do. Anyway, cut very long story short, she never paid any of her bills and then kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And I never, you know, some people hear of somebody and look them up. I don't do that ever with people. But the more that she was ignoring me, the more I thought, I need to look this person up. Yeah. And I'd met her, obviously, and in fact I'd spent some time with her over in the Netherlands when she first bought him. And turned out she was a little in trouble with the law, put it that way.
In the Netherlands?
No.
Here?
Over in the UK.
Okay.
And she'd told some untruths that had got her into trouble. And yeah, obviously her world turned upside down. So I thought, well, yes, you're never going to be in a position where you're going to be able to pay bills. And so he became a resident of the sanctuary. And I still believe to this day, you know, I mean, she was a lovely lady, you know, some of the best criminals are.
She said knowingly.
Well, I know you. Sorry, that was mean. After I said last week that you got sacked and didn't get sacked.
And I sort of don't think I'm a criminal either.
You don't think you're what?
A criminal.
No, you're not
I've
a
never
criminal.
been locked up.
No, you're not a criminal. Well, not a known criminal. No, you're not a criminal. So yeah, I do believe to this day that she sent him to me because she knew that I would always have his best interests at heart. And you know what happens a lot in those situations where horses are abandoned at places, you know, you have a legal right to do what is necessary to recover your costs. And I know when Norcha and Micah were also abandoned here, you know, I served what's called an abandonment notice on the owners, giving them however many days it was to pay their debts, and then I had to inform the police as well. Wow. And then I could have by rights sold both the horses, but as both of them had issues, Norcha had a problem with her pelvis, Micah wasn't quite right through her back, and it turns out she's got a twist in her spine. And there were a few issues, you know, they ended up staying. And then the guy who had them had the nerve, after 12 months of absolutely no contact whatsoever, of dropping me an email and saying, sorry I've not been in touch, I'm now in a position to pick up my valuable horses, so I'll be there whenever. It's like, no, doesn't quite work like that. So I worked out effectively what they'd cost me over that year, sent him an invoice for that, never heard from him again.
Oh, what a surprise.
Well, I heard something from his solicitor. He got his solicitor on the case, and it's like, well, you have absolutely no case whatsoever.
Yeah, good. How do they become legally yours then? Is that notice?
That was the abandonment notice.
Right.
Yeah. So you serve that abandonment notice to the owner. I put a copy of it actually on the fence down here. Oh. To notify anybody. Yeah. And obviously served it to him as well. And then I can't remember, and the laws may have changed since then, but after a certain number of days, then the horse becomes legally your responsibility. And then if should you choose to sell them, you're legally entitled to.
How many other horses have you had to serve an abandonment notice to their owners?
No others, because you know, this was in the early days before, you know, I wasn't officially a sanctuary, and it was because of those 2 incidences that I thought, you know what, people's lives do change for whatever reason, and it can change suddenly overnight. And I don't mind, as long as somebody's honest with me. I'll help anybody. And so I thought, if I make that more publicly known, then if people are in a difficult situation and, you know, their horses are going to suffer because of it, then they can get in touch with me. And, you know, I've had horses come here for temporary rehoming, you know, where, you know, somebody got made redundant,
or sacked
then
like
got
me.
pregnant, and, you know, her horse was here for a while. There was somebody else who, you know, just didn't have the finances to look after her horse, desperately didn't want to sell him. So, you know, I look at every situation differently. You know, now it's like with Ice and Bear. When Lainey got in touch with me, you know, it was awful that, you know, what had happened to her. And she was hoping to be able to sort herself out in 3 months, but she was losing the land. So I said, look, send them here for 3 months. If you can get yourself sorted, then they can come back to you. If you can make a donation, great. If you can't, you can't.
Great.
And then after the 3 months, it was, no, this isn't going to happen. You know, there was too much going on in her own life. And so I think it was at that point that I spoke with Scott and Shelley and Angie at the Fenway Foundation, just to hear more about their own sort of surrender and fostering scheme. And from that, you know, we say we're affiliated with them. You know, they've been a great support. They do so much for the Friesian breed, and from that, we agreed with Lainey that she would surrender them to us, and then, you know, they would be in our care for the rest of their days, whether it was here or in foster care. And obviously, you know, Bear stayed here, and Iceman's still here and not going anywhere.
So is that how the sanctuary was started then, with that Hannes incident?
Hannes, Micah and Norcha, because, you know, I saw a need for it. And, you know, it's only on a small scale, you know, compared to the big horse sanctuaries. But I just thought, because, you know, a lot of people take on Friesians without necessarily knowing a great deal about the breed, you know, but that's life. Everybody does it, and, you know, that's how they learn. And I suppose I thought, you know, it's more for the ones that do need that extra little bit of support and care and understanding. And because, you know, I've dedicated however many years, 20 odd years, to trying to understand them, I thought, at least, you know, I'm in a position to hopefully see a problem before it arises or becomes too much of a problem. Because I've lost horses in the past myself where I've not been aware of what to look for. And
thankfully you've got the environment to be able to do it.
We're getting there, aren't we?
We're
getting there.
You know, when you got Hannes and the first ones, was this a horse farm or was it a cattle farm? What was it?
It's been dairy and beef cattle.
Right.
So when the last tenants were in, who were here, I think, for about 40 odd years after my great-grandfather, they did have dairy, but when they left, it was just a small number of beef cattle.
You know.
So the farm never really was designed for horses.
Right.
You know, nor are the buildings. And I mean, the buildings aren't designed for sort of modern farming anyway. But so I always knew that moving on here, we were trying to turn a farm that wasn't necessarily suitable for horses into a horse farm.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. Oh, you got Mabel cuddles.
I know, I'm sorry. I was like, yeah, it wasn't
That's
me,
fine.
it was her.
Yeah. Well, I think it must be a Monday thing. Iceman cuddles, then Mabel cuddles.
No. I'm getting the paw.
Oh, look, you see, that's what we need a close-up of. She's going to cuddle you like she did me.
No.
She says, I like my Monday morning hugs.
I like doing Monday mornings.
Yeah.
Where did Mabel come from?
Mabel, she was a guy over...
Yorkshire
Yeah.
lass.
So she came to me originally for backing for riding and then driving. And the guy that had her had actually bought her for his daughter, who did a lot of showing.
Oh, we're getting the leg.
Oh, you? Oh.
Go on, sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's all right. And
Good girl.
I think she did a lot of ridden showing, so she had other breeds as well. And for whatever reason, I think just Mabel didn't appeal because as a ridden horse, Mabel wasn't easy.
Ooh, Mabes.
Not in terms of her temperament or being difficult, but her conformation. She's got a very dipped back. So she naturally goes along with her back dipped and her head up in the air. So she took quite a bit of work to work her tummy muscles, because she didn't want to work her tummy muscles and you know, get stronger through her back. So of course, because she took quite a bit of training and riding, you know, she wasn't as easy and straightforward as a horse that's built in the way for being ridden.
Yeah.
So she's probably built more for driving. Anyway, she came back to me for driving training and then went back to her owner. And I think he was just...
Tracy.
Oh. Oh,
She's
mate.
doing it, she's doing
She
it.
is.
Go on.
I'd laugh if she got both legs round me. And he got in touch with me the one day, you know, she'd been back to him, and I don't think he ever actually drove her.
Because I remember when we used to drive her here.
Oh, yeah, I used to drive it. So he said to me, you know, he absolutely adored her. And he said he was just bothered because she was just stood out in the field doing nothing, because his daughter was focusing on her other horses. So he asked, because I was doing, you know, a fair bit of riding and driving with the experience days. Oh,
Go on, sorry.
oh, mate.
It's just too cute.
It is, isn't it?
Right, yeah, so you...
No, that's fine. So he just asked whether, you know, we'd want to take her on, and so, you know, it wasn't a dire case of his life changing. He just wanted the best for her.
Yeah. That's understandable, isn't it? It must be, though, really...
She's doing that because she wants you to scratch her bum now.
Oh, okay.
But don't.
No.
Because otherwise, what happens is she gets into the habit of thinking it's acceptable to back up into people. And then for anyone who doesn't know, then it can be quite concerning.
Yeah.
Because if a horse is backing up into you, you think, oh my goodness, they're going to kick me. But it's just because she likes bottom scratches.
Oh.
And if Lisa ever watches this, then she'll know all about this, because she broke her pedal bone. Was it last winter or the winter before? And she was in all winter while it healed.
Yeah.
And Lisa used to go in with her and bow to her needs and scratch her bottom. So she was always literally backing up into her in the box.
Got you.
And it's where you have to draw the line sometimes about what you allow to happen. So you can scratch her bum, but it's got to be on your terms as opposed to hers.
I think I won't. It's so cute when you do a front and she does leg.
Hello, darling. Did I just ruin all your fun?
Yeah.
I'm
Mom.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know, I'm very mean. Yes. At least the mud's gone off your face. Oh no, she's still got great big patches of mud on her face.
I was just going to say, I think these people that give the horses up are really brave to realise that, you know, like that man
Yeah.
to realise that his daughter, it wasn't the right thing for his daughter. But then
Yeah.
again, knowing that they're going to come here to heaven, horsey heaven,
Yeah.
that must be a big
Well,
reassurance.
but
for them.
then it's a little bit difficult, and I'm hoping I can talk about this on here. You know, I did have somebody recently who got in touch wanting to know whether they could send their Friesian here on livery, because they wanted her to be doing more.
Yeah.
They weren't in a position to do as much.
Yeah.
And you know, I said, well, you know, first of all, we're not a livery yard, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be a livery yard.
Yeah.
And also, I couldn't guarantee to do more with that horse, because it's not, when they come here, it's not necessarily about them going out and working. We try and keep them mentally stimulated, but it's not necessarily about that. But what I could do for a horse like that is still have that horse under our
Wing.
care,
Yeah.
and foster them out to somebody who can give them that one-to-one time.
Ah.
And as much as anyone can guarantee it, give them a home for life. And I was trying to explain this to this lady, and she was absolutely adamant that she didn't want her to go into foster care because she'd get pushed from pillar to post. And it's like, well, no, because we'd be very careful about the foster homes they go to. And yes, anyone's life can change, and,
Yeah.
the horse would always be able to come back to us. But, you know, in situations like that, she's better off just finding somebody herself if she doesn't want to go through the way, the scheme and how we run it.
But your network is so strong and so validated, assured, and you know that they're safe. And then you put controls on top of that to
Yeah,
make sure
and,
that they're
and
looked
Harry and
after.
Pele, who are down south, and actually it's coming up for a year ago that I went down to visit them.
Yeah.
You know, I get regular updates from Tracy about them.
Oh, lovely.
And I do need to share a video of them soon with everybody.
I haven't heard about them.
Yeah, so Harry and Pele, I knew that the lady and her daughter who bought Pele originally and kind of rescued him as a youngster from somebody who really hadn't treated him well, and he was skin and bone. So, you know, I've known of him for many years. Long and short of it was, you know, they'd had to sell him and Harry, who was an older Friesian, I think he was 18, 19, because of their life circumstances. And the people, the lady that they'd sold them to, if I've got this story correct, unfortunately got cancer and passed away.
Oh dear.
And one of her relatives was trying to look after the horses, but didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And the horses ended up getting quite badly neglected, underfed, and so the original owners ended up having to go back and rescue them, but weren't in a position to keep them themselves.
Yeah.
So reached out to me and asked whether I could help. Now, because one of the horses was an older gentleman and they were down south,
Yeah.
I didn't really want to put them through travelling all the way up here for an assessment
Yeah.
to then rehome them into foster care,
Yeah.
when I actually knew that there would be somebody on our foster care list, the perfect home for them, not far away from where they were living. So ordinarily I would prefer a horse to come here for assessment, but because I knew the people and I knew a little bit about the horses anyway,
Yeah.
they went straight into foster care, and they could not be in a better home.
Oh.
It's absolutely the best home for them.
So who's got them?
So that's Tracy Holmes has got them.
Shout out to Tracy Holmes, yay.
Absolutely.
So you've got your foster carer list. That's people that have said that they could help you out and foster horses if
Yes.
required.
Yeah. So
Cool.
so I'll be honest, as I always am, and to be honest, I will always give preference to people who have their own land and can keep a horse at home, because you know, livery yards, there's some brilliant livery yards out there.
Yeah.
There really are. But my preference would be for that horse to be in sort of a private home.
And have you got enough on your list? Do we need to try and see if we can get some more?
No, well, because we don't get a huge number of horses, you know, coming through, you know, and can I let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah,
I can
go
probably
on.
let the cat out of the bag today.
So it's our ta-da moment. It's our grand announcement.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Go on. News. What's happening in a couple of weeks?
I've got to give the breaking news.
Yes. Should we do it?
We'll give the breaking news. Look, we're slightly wonky on the camera, aren't we?
Well, if we stand like, oops, if we stand like that, we'll be
that.
straight.
Do you think I should straighten it?
No.
Okay. Sorry, we're leaving you wonky. Yes, breaking news. Although, well, I'll give you the news, but it's not happened yet, and anything can happen within the space of 24 hours or a couple of weeks.
So it may not happen.
Yes, but
We're just sharing with our friends.
But we do have a new mare arriving at the sanctuary. Again, she's trying to photobomb you, Anne.
I think she's
Darling.
succeeded. And who?
That's okay, you're short, you can fit under her neck. Oh, Mabes. Oh, Mabes.
She said, don't tell her, Mum, don't
don't keep it secret. So we do have a mare arriving, 12-year-old mare, who's coming under our sanctuary scheme because her owner's life has changed for whatever reason, and I'll share that with you, you know, as and when she arrives. The idea is that she's arriving under the sanctuary scheme, and we will look to foster her out. So there's going to be a little bit of shuffling of horses around, because what I won't do is throw her straight into this herd dynamic, because that would be a bit mean. So I haven't decided yet, but I will possibly take one or two of the girls out, maybe even Hannes.
I was just going to say
go
that.
up to the boys' turnout and let her get used to, like, familiarise herself with a couple of the others and make friends before she joins them as a herd.
Brilliant.
Or she may go straight from there into foster care. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I need to shortlist people on the foster database and get in touch with people. So that's the breaking news.
I'd love it if she got friends with Hannes.
Well,
not that it's
do you
anything
know,
to do with me.
Do you know, I thought that, it did cross my mind. I thought, oh, maybe if we put her with Hannes, then Hannes can have a new friend.
Yeah.
But that would be mean to do if she's leaving.
Oh, well, keep her then.
No,
No, no.
Not talking to you anymore.
Are we allowed to say what her name is?
No.
Oh.
Not at this stage. No, until she's here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many people in her owner's life know about the situation at the moment. So.
Well, that's great, because that's the sanctuary working as it should.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, but I never know, you know, when I'm going to get a call or an email about a horse. And, you know, I've spoken to a number of people and, you know, tried to sort out things for a few people, and actually then they've managed to sort out whatever's going on in their lives, and it hasn't happened. But, you know, I'm more than happy to advise anybody. She's desperate for cuddles this morning. Are you coming into season, Mabel, by any chance?
So it must be really reassuring for them to know that you're there just in case.
Well, hopefully.
Oh, we're doing the thing again.
Just like, Anne, stop poo picking.
No, if I must. How do you stop yourself from getting attached to them then when they come here for assessment and?
Well, it's a very good question, because when Ice and Bear came, because they came and they went straight out in the field, you do have to almost keep a little bit of a distance, emotionally.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do remember when Bear walked off the lorry, just the eyes, his eyes. And so, yeah, he had me right from word go. And so I deliberately had not minimal involvement with them, because obviously I was looking after them, but I just tried not to look into their eyes too often.
Yeah, understandable.
And then, you know, when they were surrendered, you know, I said to Jodie at the time, because she'd sort of taken on the overall care of Nika and Mabel.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, it makes sense if you take the overall care of one of them and me the other. And I said, you know, although from a, and this is where if the riding was important to me and the ability of a horse was more important to me than the character and the personality, I would have gone with Iceman, because Iceman athletically, and you know, if he were to go out and be a competition horse, he has a lot of ability and potential as a dressage horse, you know, in the traditional equine world. Whereas Bear was a little bit more old-fashioned in his build, not as athletic. But for me, I think because he reminded me of Drommy, and there was just that there was just that connection with him, which is what I got with Drommy the first day I saw him.
Yeah.
And you know, I've done the competing and the training and all of that sort of thing, and you know, that is, it's a bonus. And you know, I love working with Doutzen for all those reasons as well. But you know, and also I just thought with Jodie having done a lot with Nika, who's very tight and tense and stressy, and Mabel, who is Mabel, and she's very unique. It's okay, I'll grovel at your feet, Anne, and pick these poos up from your feet.
We're getting this on camera.
No,
Heck.
Mabel's hiding. For anyone who can't see on camera, I'm at Anne's feet, like on my hands and knees picking up poo. Oh, but I'm getting cuddles from Mabel.
I have to take a photograph of that. That's going to be a great thumbnail.
Do you think so?
I do.
Look, you missed a poo.
Well, I'm busy taking photographs.
Yeah.
I can't do two things at once, Tracy.
I know, it's that whole multitasking thing.
I know I'm a female, but you know, I have my limits.
Oh dear. Oh, Mabes.
So yeah, she took ice.
So I thought, you know, with Jodie's own learning journey, I saw Ice as a male version of Doutzen, you know, very athletic, like not a very energised Friesian like the likes of Hannes or Renska or Nika. And I learnt so much with Doutzen over the years, trying to energise her and build her muscles in the right way so that she could go out and sort of do ridden work. I thought it would be a really good thing for Jodie to work with a horse that's a completely different character and build to the ones that she had been working with.
And they had a great relationship, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's raking time, Anne.
Yay! So I suppose that this is the next step on your professional journey, really, because you've done racing.
My what?
Done professional journey.
Am I on a professional journey?
No, well, I'm thinking, as you say. No, probably not.
No.
It's the word professional.
Yeah, that's what threw it. That's what threw it. Oh, Mabes. I think where I am today.
Should we do it?
I'm here.
If I do one end, you do the other. Is that right? Go on. How do we do it as a twosome?
I usually,
Madam.
I usually go up and down.
Okay,
like
so
along there.
I don't want to get in your way. Should I go over
going
there?
up and down that way, couldn't you?
Phew, I'm glad we worked that out.
Yeah.
That was a logistics challenge.
You'll have to shout at me now.
So we were saying that you've done other things. This is the next thing.
Yeah, and it's a culmination of what I've learnt over the years. I think that everybody gets to that point, don't they, where they end up doing things that are a result of their life learning journey, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know,
Learning journey.
Hey?
That's what it is. It's a learning journey.
So life is a learning journey.
Like it.
You know, I'm often down here, and actually, interesting, when I'm doing this raking, I always think of my time that I spent in France on a thoroughbred stud.
Yeah.
Where we used to do yearling preparation for the sales, and all racing yards and studs that I worked at were absolutely immaculate, and they had these little gravel tracks outside the stables, and when we finished mucking out the stables, we used to have to rake this gravel track,
Yeah.
like we're doing now, but we had to do it in a perfect zigzag so it looked really pretty.
Oh, goodness.
And then the horses would walk out of the stables and completely trash it every day. So it's, you know, it's even down to my technique of raking in here. That comes from something that I learned many, many years ago on another stud.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you don't ask for the zigzags.
Are you not zigzagging?
No.
Anne, you have to zigzag. No, but I mean, that's a really tiny little thing. But, you know, I'm often down here. And, you know, a lot of people would say to me, oh, you shouldn't be poo picking or mucking out, you know. And I don't do a lot of mucking out now, but, you know, I could ask, you know, Molly or Frey to come down and do this every day, or our lovely workawayers. But for me, I don't want to be sat in an office. I want to be out with these guys. And
Oh, I know. It drives you mad when you're in the office.
Yeah, I'm not interacting with them the whole time while I'm here,
Yeah.
but they're here.
Yeah.
And just them standing here in their presence is lovely.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
You know, I don't need to be doing anything with them because their energy just
Yeah.
makes you feel calm.
It does. It makes you feel happy.
Yeah. And the fact that they want to be stood here with us.
Yeah.
And I would like to think it's not just to do with the carrots.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always said about the top barn up there, and it's why I always had this dream of creating a building with, when I was thinking more along the lines of having stables, with a horseshoe arrangement of stables.
Yeah, you've said
Purely because I hate these yards where you have straight lines of stables and somebody's always on the end.
Yeah,
and they can't talk to each other. Whereas
Yeah.
if it needs to be a communal space, because all these horses would love to be in that top barn where those three stables are. And that's where, hopefully, long term, we can, just as we've got something down here, we can build something up there for the horses up there, the free reiners, where they can have that communal space.
Yeah.
Because, yes, they've got a communal space, as in they've got Bess's barn, the hay hole, the turnouts, but it would be nice to have something like this or similar, not as big, up there.
That's a really good point about the horse always at the end.
Yeah.
People like me would never think about that, but it's absolutely right, isn't it?
No, and because it's been the norm in the horse world for so long, it's just seen as, well, that's the way it is. But yeah, I've always felt sorry for the one down in the corner where they can't see anyone and all they're looking at is four walls. And it's like, you know, this is why we always have the radio playing as well. If they are in a stable, because there's not a lot to, you know, when a horse is out in a field and they're roaming, you know, they've got plenty to stimulate their minds.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're stuck in a box, you know, what is there to stimulate their minds? So we give them a little bit of music.
Yeah.
As you've seen, Molly's bought Nero lots of toys. And it's, you know, just something else for them to think about.
And that's the ethos of the sanctuary, isn't it? This is all about the horses. It's not about you or anybody else. No. Just about the horses.
It is about them because Well, I suppose it is about me, really, because they're what keeps me happy. So it's just for my happiness. You know.
Yes.
They keep me sane. And, you know, I know that the more time I spend inside on an office or on a screen, the more stressed I can become.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a doer, not a delegator.
Yeah.
You know, I've had to learn to delegate to a certain extent, but I don't want to spend my time thinking about who I can delegate to, because I think, well, by the time I've thought about it, I might as well have just gone and done it myself.
Yeah. I think as well, there's something about being outdoors all the time.
Oh, definitely.
Even if it's pouring down with rain or typical Lake District weather, it doesn't matter here.
No, because you know, as long as you're dressed for it.
Yeah.
And I've got my lightweight waterproof jacket that you're very jealous of.
I am.
My blingy jacket.
I love that jacket. I said that about 2 years ago when I first saw it. I eyeballed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's looking a little tatty now.
I like the way it comes down below your bottom. You've got a bit in the middle, but the bling. Oh, and
It's the bling.
it's just got a little small branding on it.
Yeah. The black and gold, you see.
Yeah. Company colours.
How are your zigzags doing?
Pardon?
How are your zigzags doing?
Very well.
Beautiful.
Not sure how to do a zigzag. Do I need to, are you doing zigzags?
Yeah, but you can't see it in wood chip.
How do you do it then?
Well, you just do a line going that direction, and then when you come back, you go that direction.
I noticed that last week when we did the video.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that's really good because you're using both sides equally.
Oh yeah.
Ergonomically, it's really
Absolutely.
good. Right, I'm going to start zigzagging from here
Okay,
on
you
in.
zigzag. But then it's really irritating when somebody's standing in your way and you have to work round them, Micah. Isn't it, darling?
I love the way you say that because there's no way you would expect said horse to move. So
Oh
that
God,
you can
no.
Complete your zigzags.
No. I couldn't possibly expect them to do that. Could I, Micah?
You know that racehorse place in France? Was that where you went when you were young?
When I was
that the
young,
first
are you
place you
suggesting I'm not young anymore, Anne? I went there because I did a 3-year course, a 3-year national diploma
Ooh.
in the management of thoroughbreds for racing at Witney College, just outside Oxford.
Yeah.
Of those 3 years, I spent the second year in America
Oh my God.
learning how to stay on thoroughbreds that all used to get me off every day. And most of the 2 years, the year either side of that, I spent going racing because I was obsessed with racing at the time. I
Right.
think I spent a little bit of time in the classroom,
Oh, great.
but not a massive amount. But as part of, I think it was the first year I was there in the summer, there were a few of us who went over and spent a couple of months over at Haradou-Logis in France, where they bred racehorses, and we went to walk the yearlings because they all used to get hand walked in preparation for going to the Deauville sales, which are a very famous sales in the thoroughbred world. And so, yeah, we used to walk the cheeky little thoroughbreds, the yearlings, round a big field, and you'd have to learn to deal with them leaping and jumping
Oh
and
my goodness.
getting carried away. So I learned a lot about, well, everywhere I've worked, I've learned a lot about horse behaviour and why they do the things they do. So yeah, I worked for Jonathan Shepherd over in America, even though, because at the time I still desperately wanted to ride, and I wasn't a good rider, I'd never had lessons.
Wanted to ride in the racing world?
Well, I was always told by the college tutors at Witney that I was too big to ride racehorses and too heavy.
Oh.
Because at the time, if I remember rightly, you didn't want to be over sort of 8.5, 9 stone.
Goodness. And that's too heavy.
Yeah, and I used to get the mickey taken out of me wherever I went. You know, the lads, racing lads, were very mean. It's why I didn't work in the racing industry in this country. Girls got a certain reputation, and when I did go up the gallops, I used to regularly get, because obviously you're riding short,
Yeah.
and you're up like this. Oh, there's been a total eclipse of the sun, you know, because they said my backside was too big.
Womaneck.
So yeah, it's not. It's an interesting world, but I was adamant that I wanted to learn to ride the racehorses. So I wrote to Jonathan Shepherd myself because he was a national hunt trainer, and at the time the thought was that national hunt horses, you know, they're a little bit older, a little bit stronger.
Right.
They can carry a little bit more weight than a flat racing horse.
Meaning you.
Yeah. And I went to work for him, and I used to, nobody ever helped me learn to ride. And even there, I used to get on all the older race horses, and they all buggered off with me up the gallops.
So you didn't have lessons?
No, there's no
Just
lessons
get on
as
and
such.
do it.
Get on and go, and I'm a slow learner even when I'm observing other people, but the amount of times I'd get to the bottom of the gallops,
Yeah.
and I think, oh God, we're going to turn now and this horse is going to run off with me. And I would literally shorten up my reins and think, I've got this horse. And we'd turn, and I'd have my reins really short and my hands up this poor horse's neck, and this horse would just go. And I had no upper body strength to be able to stop it. And then the next day, I'd see somebody else riding that exact same horse.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to register this. They'd be going up the gallops with loose reins.
Right.
Because they got to the bottom of the gallops, and rather than giving the horse the expectation that you're going to grab hold of them and they've got to pull into the reins and go really fast, they would be relaxed. They'd turn on the gallops with a loose rein.
Yeah.
And then pick the reins up to have that little bit of control on the
Goodness.
mouth.
Heck.
So yeah, all the older horses took the mickey out of me, and I would fall off. It was a running joke. Who's Tracy going to fall off today? Because sometimes you'd be on 6, 7, 8 horses a day.
Oh, goodness.
Guarantee I'd always fall off. But that's how I learned to
Yeah.
stay on.
Yeah. So where did the transformation come from then, from racing horses, which is totally different? I don't mean it's different, no, it's niche.
No,
isn't
it is completely different.
Yeah.
Well, I worked there, then went back to college, did all the agricultural stuff as well, and then I left there, and actually Jeremy Martin, who's now, no, it wasn't Jeremy, it was a girl, Emma, that I was working with. She'd gone to work in South Africa.
Yeah.
And the trainer over there needed somebody to set up a satellite yard in South Africa to train all the youngsters. And I'd learned a lot at Jonathan Shepherd's of how to back the youngsters.
Yeah.
So I went over to South Africa for a year and set up this satellite yard, and I'd get like 18-month-old thoroughbreds coming to me that'd never even had a head collar on.
Oh.
And I would be on their backs within 7 days, and I would do that on my own because there was nobody else to help me.
Yeah.
And they'd be relaxed, and there was only one that I didn't manage to do, but that had been to 2 other places before.
So you sort of
and
fed
then-
into that by default, really?
Yeah, so I did that, and then I came back from South Africa, and sorry, I feel I should be doing something while
Yes,
I'm
we
talking.
can.
Let me get a broom.
We
Hold
can
on.
do this.
So yeah, I came back from South Africa and thought, and it was quite sudden because my gran had died and there were a few safety issues over in South Africa, and it was the only time in my life that my dad actually told me what to do, and he said to me he thought I should come home.
Yeah.
So I did, and I didn't have a job, but Jeremy Martin, who's the clerk of the course at Salisbury Racecourse, he's the racecourse manager there now. He got me an interview at Kempton Racecourse,
Oh, right.
where
Still in racing then?
Okay,
Still in racing.
but more on the sort of admin side than anything. And I went to work as PA secretary.
Oh,
I know, completely different.
oh,
For the racecourse manager, a guy called Julian Thick, who'd been recently, well, I think he'd recently become, sweetheart, you're going to have to move your foot, general manager of the racecourse. And I started there as his PA, and then became, after a couple of years, then became the event manager there.
oh, I'm not surprised.
Running all the different things like antiques fairs, general markets,
brilliant.
motorbike rallies, and they had all these different events.
What fun.
So there was that, you know, there were a lot of things I was disillusioned with racing.
Yeah.
Um,
Ooh. Oh, I don't like that brush.
but, oh, you might want the other one. You know, not least of all the fact that these horses were getting backed so young and
Yeah.
you know, completely misunderstood and abused at a young age and then discarded. But that's a whole nother topic that would take us on to several hours.
But that's influenced where you are now, hasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, I worked at the racecourse, and then I also did. Oh God, I did a diploma in management studies at Kingston University while I was there.
Why did you do that?
Why?
Oh, it's a good one to do, but
Well, I didn't want to do the MBA because that looked like too intense, and I don't enjoy the education system.
yeah.
And I think my manager at the time had suggested it would be a good thing to further my career.
Yeah.
And then it was a case of, well, do I go into racecourse management
Yeah.
or do I look for something else? And actually, at the time, I think I'd just bought a house, and you know what I was earning every month was important for the mortgage payments.
Sure.
And if I took a racecourse manager's role, I would have had to have taken a pay cut from what I was doing. But I was at that point where I was ready to move on from the racecourse for all sorts of different reasons.
Yeah.
So I actually got offered 2 different jobs. I applied to be a journalist for the Racing Post.
Oh my goodness.
And I got offered a job at the Racing Post. But at the same time, weirdly, I went for an interview at John Lewis in Kingston, who were looking for a customer service manager. And because I've always been like a bit of a mediator and, you know, see both sides of every story, I went for the interview. It was really good pay, you know, completely away from horses.
Yeah.
But the general manager, a guy called Brian Clifford, was ex-RAF and a really lovely guy. And we spent the interview talking about horses.
Oh.
And he used to go to, what was it? Over at Camberley, the barracks, the army barracks. And because he was ex-RAF, he could go and ride the army horses at the weekend. Didn't have to have anyone going out with him. So he and I, when I got the job there, he and I used to go on our day off, and we would go there and we'd go out riding together on his army horses, which was fabulous.
Yeah.
So I lasted 3 years at John Lewis, and it was awful actually. I felt really bad because the day I handed in my notice, they were actually about to offer me promotion to, weirdly, look after customer accounts, as in like the credit accounts, like in the accounting department. And it's like, oh no, oh no, I don't mind looking after people, but their money and their accounts, no.
But they must have had a lot of confidence in you to think that that was your job.
Well,
So
I'd
that's
like to
good.
think so, but you know, I basically left and went off travelling around the world for a year.
Oh, as you do.
As you do, you know, because you either do that when you're 18 and you have absolutely no money, or you do it when you're retired and you're too sick to travel.
Yeah, good point.
So we sold our house,
Yeah.
made a little bit of money on it,
Yeah.
went off travelling around the world for a year, and the money that was left over from the house went on 4 Friesians when we got back.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want me to take that?
There you go.
Oh, I need to sweeten
Oh.
that, don't I?
Thanks. I'll pull Arthur out. Shall I stop that for a minute?
Here we are again at bail time.
It's like deja vu, isn't it, Anne?
Pardon?
It's like deja vu. Weren't we doing this last
I
Monday?
can't hear you because of the tractor.
Weren't we doing this last Monday?
Yeah, we were.
Anyone would think they'd need feeding every week.
Is it a weekly thing?
Look!
Is that lovely?
Oh, I like
Your
that.
little face.
I like
Such
that.
joy.
I know. It's the little things in life. Oh, beautiful.
No
Oh,
manky
there's
black bits.
Tiny
Oh.
little bit there, but that's okay. Oh, you see.
And
Happy.
it smells lovely. It smells sort of sweet.
No, that's me.
No, it's not, Tracy. Trust me, it's not.
What are you saying, Ellen?
Nothing
So rude.
stinker.
I've got a knife, you know. Oh no!
What?
Look!
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Now, no, it's not that bit. It's that bit.
Ooh,
That's it.
word.
Right, we'll have to pull that bit off. It's only a little bit. The rest of it is lovely and dry.
Will that just be on the outside?
Yeah, that won't be. A couple of layers.
Okay.
We can pull that off. So no
Just
problem.
when you thought.
What?
Just when you thought it was going so well.
I know it was.
Oh, hang on. Hang on. I'm going to go to the other side. I felt a little bit trapped. And we're off.
I had visions of picking you up with the bale.
Forward a bit, forward a bit, forward a bit. Forward a bit, forward a bit. Look at that. Fantastic. Ooh. Where's she going? She's just doing a manoeuvre. I need to go and open the gates. Oops. It's my job next. We just say we should have brought the gimbal so that I wouldn't have to stand and watch Tracy work, but ups the daisy.
You did it on
I've got to
purpose so
stand and
that you
watch
didn't
Tracy
have
work.
to.
Again.
Look, we've got an extra pair of helping hands.
Da, 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 da. Tony's here. Tony could help Tracy. Or not.
He could, but he's not going to.
I'd do it wrong if I did it.
Really?
There is that, Tracy.
When do I ever tell people they're doing things wrong?
Never.
I don't think I do.
No, you don't.
I try not to.
You very, very kindly suggest alternatives, like you did this morning with the weaving.
With what?
The weaving of the doofer in there.
The weaving of the doofer.
I know, it wasn't weaving.
What's a doofer?
The crisscross, the flooring.
Oh, the
in there.
raking.
Yes.
The raking, and you did it beautifully, Anne.
Thank you. I actually think my side's better than yours.
Oh no, I wouldn't go as far to say that. Say that.
I think we should ask Tony to give a
but
comment.
But they've pooed all over it now. We go up for coffee and we come back down and they've just pooed all over it
You're
again.
just saying that because you're scared of the competition. You're scared of Tony saying that
not
my
s-
side was better than yours.
I'm not scared of competition. I don't agree with competition. As long as you're happy with what you did, that's the main thing.
I feel as though I've done a very good job.
What?
I feel as though I've done a very good job.
You have done a
In
very
there.
good job.
So
In where?
that'll do.
In there. Yeah, but there's 6 more poos in there now, Anne. That
What do you want me to
moving.
do then? Well,
Shall I put the trailer in the right place now?
you see what I
Are
mean?
you going? Have you had enough? Hey? Oh, okay, you're not going to help?
Oh, good comment.
What was that?
Are we going to help him? No.
No. Because I don't know what I'm doing with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What do you mean you don't know what you're doing with this? You make haylage, you make hay.
Well, hey, make hay while the sun shines, love.
Bye.
Well,
Tony's not much help today, is he? Were you not going to come down and do the bits behind the salt licks? In the end container. Well, only because I couldn't fit it in the back of Arthur, so I thought you can fit it in the back of your truck. Bye. I'm not cracking the whip. Okay, I'll bring it down and break it on the way. And then you can tell me off for that. Can't win. Can't win, can you?
Oh, that was fun.
Wasn't it just?
So,
Right.
I don't really know what I'm meant to be doing here.
No, what are you meant to be
we were
doing?
going to...
Oh, yeah, no, we were going to take... We were going to give an intro to the...
We were.
Should we do that after we've got this on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to film that? Because we filmed that last week, didn't we? Putting that bell
Yeah,
thing
so we
on.
don't need to film
I
that
don't
again,
think so.
do we?
If anybody wants us to do this again next week, let us know and we will.
Yeah, because they're going through 2 bales a week now.
Yeah. So there's
So
plenty of opportunity.
it's like a Monday job now,
Yeah.
doing the haylage.
Right, I'm going to check out here and we'll check back in when we go back in there and to do our introduction.
Okay.
Is Robin come to help? Hello, Robin.
Wake up in the morning with a smile on my face, feeling thankful for the love and the happiness we chase. Sun is shining brightly, sky so blue and clear. With every breath I take, I'm grateful you are near. So grateful, yeah. Thank you for the laughter, thank you for the tears. Thank you for the moments that we hold dear. Thank you for the love, thank you for the light.